opportunity for Charlotte off the set piece. It is going to be the man out of Poland. The shot, yes!
And it's gone in. It's an Olympico. Shiki pulls it back. The shot and another goal.
And look who's coming on. Ryan Romero. Here's Romero. Hit the shot, kid.
Goal!
For the city, for the crown.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Offsides Podcast, the official podcast of the Charlotte Football Club. I'm your host, Andres Robledo, and as always, I'm joined with my co-host, the international vacation man, going to Colombia, the Swiss Alps. He's been everywhere but Charlotte, Pablo Robledo. Pablo, how the vacations been?
Vacations have been good. Charlotte keeps ruining them for me.
You try to get away, but you'll never escape the Charlotte FC curse.
No, I'll be sitting in a hotel room with my iPad watching, just brewing.
Nothing like ending a nice day out with with an infuriating match.
Yeah,
To really just ruin your Sunday.
Driving home on Sunday, just mad.
Yep.
3-hour drive in silence.
And now you got the Panthers to ruin your Mondays too.
Gosh. Yeah.
The life of a Charlotte sports fan.
At this point, I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah.
Used to it.
I had to cover for you at the coaching, some rec soccer, and did my best Lattanzio impression. I had my Charlotte FC rain jacket that looks like their warm-up jersey that he wears, and tied 4-4. So
Yeah, I heard. Nice.
honestly,
Charlotte fashion.
well, I thought we were up one, and so then I made kids play back, and then at the end they're like, "We tied, awesome." I was like, "Oh, did not know that. Thought we were up by one."
I wonder if that's what Lattanzio is going through.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh,
He just
we're not up by
doesn't
one."
know.
It's hard to keep
Yeah.
track. It's not like it's on a giant scoreboard for him.
They're not allowed to look at it.
Yeah. So it's been a little while since we've done an episode. I think 2 weeks or so, maybe longer.
Maybe a little longer. Yeah. I think the last match that we kind of covered up to was Nashville. But since then we played DC, Philly, and Cincinnati. So yeah, we got
And
3 depressing games to cover.
yeah, Shirley won one of those matches, right?
In spirit.
We won the battle.
In spirit.
Actually, no, we didn't. We lost the battle.
Yeah. I think DC was more of like a defensive win for us.
Yeah,
And
clean sheet.
That was about it. Yeah,
Celebrate
that
the
was
small
about it.
victories.
yeah. And I was gonna say that Philly one felt more of a loss than a tie, really.
Yeah, but how many ties have felt like that? I mean, how many times have we said that this season alone?
Yes. Yeah.
Nashville.
I wonder if there's a way to look up how many leads we've given up.
So they had a stat on, I think it was the Philly game, where while we were leading, our record was 6-3-5. So we won 6 games, lost 3 games, and tied 5. So now after that Philly game, I think it's 6-3-6. So it's 9 games where we've could have won and didn't win, and only 6 where we did win after having a lead. So not the best. A lot of points dropped.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know you're on, you run our Instagram account, so you see some of the fan interactions, especially the Charlotte FC meme page. That guy, I feel like, always kind of nails what the fan base is going through. But man, on Twitter, obviously it's a more what's it called, like written out, or more, I guess, not verbal, but it's a little bit more expressive because people can kind of just rant and rave about what they're going through, and people are pissed, man. Like, a lot of people are just fed up with all the ties, and not just like tying, but just losing leads, and especially to like silly mistakes. Like the talked about the DC game here being 0-0, but to touch back on the Philly game, like one, that was a game I don't think anyone was expecting too much from. I think most people probably would have been happy with a tie, but the way it happened, a stupid penalty kick at the last second.
Yeah.
Just, it's like, man, you guys are doing your best to just not win, like more so than like to hold on to leads. I mean, just stupid mistakes like that. And
yeah, I felt like that was probably like our worst foul yet. Like,
oh yeah, I mean,
you basically said it's stupid, but like, just worst possible moment, worst possible place, timing, everything.
yeah. And I was surprised it wasn't like a red or something.
At least get a I was gonna say at least make it worthy of a red.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was I gonna say as well? Yeah, I think fans would feel a lot different if we were like coming back and tying games. Like if we were down 2-0 and then brought it back 2-2. I think people would be a lot more like
maybe. I guess maybe. I don't know. We'd still be in the same spot now. I think we'd just be arguing about giving up leads, or
I think it'd be more about like just having the defense hold out longer.
True.
But
that's another good point.
But the other thing too, that I think it was after the DC game that I saw some fans talk about, and maybe we mentioned this before too, was like, oh, if the team can just figure out like finishing, like then we're good. And I mean, it's like, man, we're almost towards the end of the season. We got 4 games left. Like they should have figured that out by now already. Like, and that's something we've been saying since last season. And maybe we talked about that on last episode also, but it's like every game is just like the same like excuses and I get it. It's probably certain fans just trying to be positive. They don't want to drag on the team and whatnot, but it's just like, yeah, the issues have been the same all season long, and there's like no improvement on it. Like I just don't see them getting better at any of that stuff at all. Like they've gotten a bit better at passing and moving the ball, but I mean, it's worthless if you can't get it in the back of the net, and if you can't, keep teams out of your back of the net. Like, if you're going to give up 2 goals every game, well, the finishing in the world is pretty pointless, especially with how like badly we struggle to score goals.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I wanted to just mention that we can get into more detail too has just been the way Lattanzio has handled the criticism from fans in press conferences. His favorite quote seems to be to remind fans that we're not Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, but to me it's like, well, we're not complaining that we are losing, one game every now and then and winning a bunch of games. We're complaining that like you don't seem to manage the team very well by your choice of substitutes and starting lineups. The team can still not hang on to a lead. That's been an issue pretty much all season.
All season.
I mean, you've got the worst defense in the league. We've let in the most goals in the league.
Have we? Yeah, you're right. 48. Right next to Toronto. Dang, we are right there with all the bottom guys. Yep. I just saw that.
And it's just like a comment like that, I feel like is just so stupid, because it's like, what? So because we aren't these big clubs, like the fans have no right to criticize or complain? Like you're putting out a really like, pardon my language, but like a really shitty product that is not fun to watch. It's like desperate at all times, and it hasn't changed like all season long. So I think people have just like lost their patience. It's towards the end of the season. I think fans totally have a right to complain about it, and for you to like just kind of dismiss fans by saying like, listen, we're not Real Madrid, we're not Bayern Munich, we're not these big European clubs. It's like, dude, we're not like, yeah, we're not them, but like the performances and the results you've gotten is also like not acceptable of like any team that's trying to be competitive.
Right.
Like,
I mean, look
we've
at
won.
Who is it? The St. Louis brand new team over there breaking records. They're the only ones in the Western Conference that have even clinched the playoff, and this is their first season. So,
And they've done it with less money than us. They've spent, I think, 10 million on their squad, and we've spent 13.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's really disappointing. Just how nonchalant he is about it. And I try to like not be too hateful of the guy, but I totally agree with you. It's just like he's just very dismissive about whether we win or whether the wins have been far and few here, but mostly just when we seem to tie or lose in the fashion that we mostly have been tying. It's just like he doesn't have like much emotion to show about it.
Yeah.
So I think as fired up as the fans are, and also as in regards to like fan base, MLS fan base, Charlotte has one of the bigger ones that show up constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So just to kind of like throw that in faces, saying, we're not these big clubs, but it's like, okay, but we are, one of the more consistent fan bases that show up to games. So maybe put a little more into the strategy.
Not only that too, but like, and I know he's not in charge of this, but like, we're one of the highest ticket prices, concession prices, merchandise, things like that. Like, so, like, I would say, yeah, we're not a big European club, but you can argue we're one of the bigger MLS clubs, even though this is only our second season.
Yeah,
30,000 fans on average. That's a lot in the MLS. And what Ben Bender's jersey was like one of the top selling jerseys this season. I mean, think about how many fans are buying that jersey to outsell players from, LAFC, Austin, LA Galaxy, St. Louis this year. Like, they clearly got a big fan base that is supporting. And I mean, I know you see it on Instagram. I see it online. Like, it's super vocal. And there's a lot of people talking about it. I mean, even our small social media combined probably has over 500-600 people following just us to cover Charlotte FC. So I mean, that's a lot of people that are like wanting to follow like the team.
yeah.
So I think his comments about it are like really disrespectful towards the fans and like really dismissive. It's kind of got that air of arrogance of like when you talk to people about MLS and they're like, "Oh, I only watch Premier League," or "I only watch Bundesliga," or whatever, which we used to be that until we got a team, but
Yeah.
but I feel like it's like that. Like he's like, well, this isn't even like real soccer, so like who cares? And then his other comment was, he's like, we're not losing. We got a lot of ties. It's showing that we're hard to beat. I'm like, not really, because we're beating ourselves. Like, it's us doing the beating, so we're not even like hard to beat. It's like almost a waiting game.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like Eastern Conference is probably one of the tougher. It's better than Western, and only in regards to just like the goals that have came from Eastern Conference teams. I mean, the top 5, they're like the lowest is 50 goals, whereas Western Conference, I think their highest is 58. And like I said earlier, St. Louis is the only one to clinch a playoff, whereas on Eastern Conference, I want to say our top 5 have already clinched playoff positions.
In the East?
Yeah, in the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like I don't know how this is only our second season, but I feel like this season has been a lot tougher for us than last season. Even though it seems to be like we're kind of in the same end result.
And I feel like then this was what I was talking about earlier too, is like I feel like a lot of the like excuses that we gave last season in terms of like team performance, it's almost like the same thing as this season. Although I would argue maybe last season the defending was a bit better, but I'd have to look at the stats to double check that. But I feel like we're just saying the same thing. Like, oh, if this team can just figure out like how to finish, like what to do in the final third, like then we'll be good because we can pass the ball around, we can keep it. It's like, man, that's all worthless if you can't score. And like this is the second year where we're just saying the same stuff of like, oh, you know, if we can just figure out like what to do in that final third, like we'll be good. And it's like, yeah, it's been 2 years of trying to figure that out. Like, and it looked at in the Leagues Cup, it looked like we had it figured out. You know, don't play Kopetti, play Swiderski, play Scott Arfield.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I'm looking at the MLS standings from last season. We ended up with 52 goals against us, and we finished the season in 9th. So far this season, we have 48 goals against us. We're in the 13th spot, and we still have like 4 more games to play when we average about 2 goals against us per game. So if we stay in that same average, we got, let me see, New England, Toronto, that's 4 right there, Chicago, and then Miami twice. So, yeah, we're on track to get more goals scored against us than last season for sure. So I think you're right on the basis that last season our defense was better and our attacking just couldn't find a way to close out games or even just, finish. I feel like this season our attack has been much better, but our defense has been worse. Like way worse. And our attack has only been slightly better. Not that much better. So Durski's definitely stepped up. Yazviak did for a while. Arfield has been a big help, so is Mariam.
Yeah. And that's
Petty's the one that I consistently have issues with.
Yeah, he can't find the back of the net to save his life.
No, and you said it earlier. It's when he just doesn't. I don't think he just fits our play style with our guys. In the Leagues Cup, we had Swiderski up there, and we were scoring left and right. And then ever since he came back, it's just been ties and losses.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm just not too happy with it. I
I
agree. How it's going to go next season, though.
Yeah. I'll just have to see what happens. I think for next season to give me any hope, it needs to be like Tepper needs to step in and just let what's his name, Zernetta, the front office manager, the GM, let him go, let Lattanzio go, bring in a new GM that knows what he's doing, has MLS experience, has some GM experience, and then bring in a coach that's similar, has some head coaching experience. And I think you got to be super active in this next transfer window, trying to get rid of some players, try to bring in some guys. We have a lot of guys on the that are wingers that are all pretty ineffective. I mean, I hate to say it, but even some of my favorites like Vargas, they just don't get the job done. Some of it's to not getting the consistent playing time and the chances, but I don't know. I was watching him, and then it sucks to say, but I was watching him this past game, and some of his decision making around the final third, it just doesn't make sense. He'll be in between the 18 and the PK box, maybe 4 or 5 yards from the end line, and just blasts a knee height cross across face of goal. And it's dude, what's anyone supposed to do with that? Just play it on the ground, find someone. Or he'll be way out wide and just blast across way over, not even close. That's you can't be so wasteful when you get into these good positions. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm fine with that. He can get away with that.
Yeah. but and it's not just him. Gaines is the same way. He'll get in a decent position and then just take too many touches and just get stuffed up and lose the ball.
Did
Yazviak's kind of similar. He played last game. Yeah, he just came back from injury, which I didn't even know he was injured.
Yeah. I was gonna say I haven't seen Gaines in a while, and I kind of was on board at the beginning of the season. He seemed to be doing okay, but I had no idea he was injured.
Yeah, I didn't either until
interesting.
someone said that they were glad he's recovered well. I was like, oh, didn't know he was injured and totally forgot he was on the team. So
Same. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, man, he makes like some substitutions. Like anytime I see, the Vargas one, I'm biased, so like I don't get upset when I see him come on. But like anytime I see Yazwiak or Gaines come on, I just know it's like not gonna make a difference. Like
Yeah.
they just don't have, and like every now and then I'll be wrong, like, but the other 8 or 9 games I'm like right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we all kind of know Gaines has the one go-to, which is just sprint down the sideline and cross it.
The Lightning McQueen.
And then Vargas, yeah, he's just, blast it from outside the
Yeah.
box. Somebody will be there, hopefully. I
Nah,
don't think that's
doesn't-
his plan. It's like he's trying to get it in himself. And
Dude, he hits that ball so hard. Like,
Yeah.
just clears the whole
So-
field.
somebody goes up for a header. They're coming down with a goal and a concussion.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, that wasn't close to anyone.
And then Yazwiak, I'm kind of disappointed because at the beginning of the season he was slowly but surely improving game after game to the point where like we both thought he earned the starting position, but then injury happened, U.S. Open Cup happened, and he just kind of started going back to his old style.
Yeah.
And kind of going back into what you mentioned as far as, getting rid of players and bringing on players, like Yazwiak would be one that I wouldn't be too upset if we let go.
No, yeah, same. Free up a DP slot, bring someone else in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
now-
in the... Go ahead.
I was going to say right now, if I had like a top 3 or 4 of who I would let go to make like some real cap room and free up slots, Capetti's up there, Yazwiak's up there, even Byrne is up there, and
I think he's turned it around. I think Burns
Think
turned it
so?
around. Yeah.
well,
Yeah, he's
he's
looked a
still
lot
on.
better.
And then and Bronico too. I mean,
They ain't
I
ever
know-
getting rid of him.
No, I know
They've spent way too much marketing money.
Yeah. I know it's his bobblehead season, and he's not going anywhere. But like, he would be on my list to get rid of.
The frustrating thing with Bronico is like he does enough to where like some fans can kind of defend him, like because he does get into pretty good positions, but his decision making around the box, like in the position he gets into, like on the attacking side of the ball, is horrendous. Like he
Yeah.
had that chance against DC,
Yeah,
and I get like it was like a
he wasted So many
handball.
opportunities.
Yeah, and it's like, man, if you just had better technique, like that guy doesn't even like touch that ball anyways. Like it wouldn't even be the situation of trying to appeal for the PK. Like if you could just settle it and like hit it into the back of the net, like.
Yeah,
But it
you're
takes
right,
him
he's
like
not-
so
he's not
long to
going.
settle it. Yeah, and then like
Not
he
going
had,
anywhere.
I think he had an assist in the Philly game, but like, it didn't seem like it wasn't really anything special to me because like, he tried to cross it, the guy slid and blocked the cross, and it was just kind of lucky that like it came to him again, so
Yeah.
he just like tried to cross it again, and it's like, okay, well, I don't know, I don't think like that's that like impressive or anything. And then on the defensive side of the ball, like all the dude knows how to do is just foul someone. And if you
And get
watch,
away with it.
no, not get away with it. He gets called with it all the time. Like
Oh,
watch
yeah?
you didn't get to see the Cincinnati game, but like he gave him that free kick right at the top of the box, and it's like, dude, why are you giving like a foul there? Like realize where you're at. Like just stay in front of the guy. Like just mark him. Like you don't need to just chop at his leg constantly. And like he just runs into guys and like will just push like fully 2-arm extend, like push guys, like just terrible stuff. Like his defensive work, I don't know how people like say he's a good like defender, because I think it's like really sloppy most of the time.
He's only got 4 yellows this year.
Yeah, but how many fouls has he committed?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He gets away with them because some of them have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
and he's gotten away with them.
Yeah, I just think he like consistently gives fouls in like bad spots.
Yeah. Last year he had 7 yellows, 1 goal, 1 assist, 34 matches. This year he's 27 matches, still 1 goal, 1 assist, and 4 yellows. So he might still be able to beat those numbers.
Yeah,
Especially now that we're basically not in the playoffs.
and the thing for me too is like, I don't see how a guy like him continues to get playing time when you've got someone like Scott Arfield on the bench.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
the
you
guy has
basically
come in
said
and
he's a Charlotte native.
yeah, I do think that is what it is. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, you know how they do like the like Charlotte will show the pictures of what the players are wearing before a game match, and they come in like carrying their purses and all that.
Yeah.
And then Brent Bronico had the 49ers jacket on. I'm just like, yeah, this dude's not going anywhere.
Yeah. It's too big for the fan base.
Yeah, it's just like such a statement wearing a 49ers jacket.
And
Didn't
F the
even
49ers.
graduate.
I think he graduated.
I don't know. Don't fact check me.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's just so annoying, man. Like I think Scott Arfield has more goals than him this season already. And I think both of them have been like, well, one was the goal against Nashville, which should have been a game-winning goal, but then we gave a dumb PK. And then one was the game-winning goal against LAFC. So it's like you've got a guy who can come in and like make a difference, like put the ball in the back of the net, like first time. He doesn't need two, 3 touches. Like he can one touch it into the back of the net from outside of the box. Something like Bronico cannot do. And like the guy just doesn't get playing time. And then you've got a guy who's been a really good center mid coming off the bench who has gotten you goals late in games, and now all of a sudden you're starting him at right wing, Ben Bender, who looks terrible on the wing. And you can tell he looks uncomfortable. Like he doesn't know what he wants to do. Like you can see he's got very little confidence. And he's just like, dude, he's just too slow, and his like dribbling is just like not good enough for the wing. He's so much better of like just moving the ball around center of the field, helping switch the field, and then like running in late to the box and like one timing it into the back of the net. And we're just completely misusing him now. Yeah. So it's just like these choices that Lattanzio makes that are just like so ridiculous and like clearly just the wrong choices. But then if the fan base says anything, it's just like, well, you know, you were not Real Madrid. You guys can't complain. Don't complain. And yeah, it's just annoying. It's just been a frustrating season.
Yeah. Also on our defensive, we have had. I was looking at through our roster, and some of these guys I forgot were even with us because they've been out with like injuries, like Tulioma. I forgot he was with us.
Oh my god! Yeah, I forgot about Tulioma. That's crazy.
Carujo, he came back very shortly.
Yeah, he played what, like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, for the short time he was with us. Diop, not sure where he's at.
Yeah, I think last time we saw him was that Atlanta game, right, where he got subbed on and then subbed off.
Yeah, Melo hasn't been on.
He's been injured, I know that.
Yeah, again, right?
Yeah.
It's not good. He's on the list.
Nope. Yeah, he is on the list. He is definitely on the list.
Yeah, so we've dealt with a lot of injuries too, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know. Again, it's just like I feel like he just does not use the guys who are effective. And I think we joked about it before, but it's like if you have a good game and you score,
yeah,
be prepared to not play the next game. Yeah. Be prepared to like not see the field for a couple weeks. Like we haven't seen Brandon Cambridge in forever, but Yazwiak and Gaines are still getting playing time.
And Cambridge got us that. He either got us the tie.
He got us a win. He got us a win. Yeah.
Awful. I mean, Awful's probably one of our better senior defenders, and he's not even making the subs.
Yeah, that one I'm okay with because Like, we got to be prepared for a life without Awful anyways.
Yeah, but we should use him while we have him. Might as well squeeze every little drop that we can out of him.
Oh, I think we have. That dude was playing a lot in the beginning of the season.
Good on the wing, on like the left wing back or right wing back.
Yeah. And when he floats into the midfield, he looks good there too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I think Awful would be a good guy to bring in as a sub instead of, Gaines.
Yeah, Brandon Cambridge had the 2 goals against Chicago to win the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've seen him since then.
Scripted.
And then, like, the one guy that he does give playing time to that I'm glad is Patrick Agyemang, but he gives him like 5 minutes at the end.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, what's he gonna do with those 5 minutes?
Bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's just, I just feel like his man management has been terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Who have kind of been some of your surprise players this season, like the standouts?
Stand out in terms of what?
Just performance overall, I would say.
Good or bad?
Like key players that. No, I would say good, obviously.
Lately, I would say Ashley Westwood has been a lot better than he was at the beginning. And these last few games, I feel like if he can perform well in that midfield and like move the ball around, I feel like we have way better odds of like scoring goals and trying to win the game. But on games where like he gets a little bit invisible, or just doesn't see as much of the ball, like I can tell like when he's having a really good game, the whole team overall plays really, really well. But if he's having like an average game, like we just look so much worse. Like I think the Cincinnati game was kind of like that. Like I feel like he just wasn't seeing as much of the ball, especially not in good areas. And you could just kind of tell like our attacks were not getting set up as well. Where compared to like the Philly game or the LAFC game, especially the LAFC game, I feel like he was everywhere and like constantly touching the ball and setting up like 1-2s. And our attack looked really good that game. So I think he's been someone who surprised me in the second half of the season. I think in the first half, I thought he was a little bit overhyped just because like people were like, oh, he's a Premier League midfielder. Like he's going to really bring quality to the team.
That's what
I don't think he did in the first half, but I think the last couple of games, like the last half of the season, he has, especially since the LAFC game. That game really stood out to me with his performance.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I thought he was going to be like a big difference maker early on just because of like where he was coming from. But it just turned out to be like nothing really special that stood out up until recently. And I don't really know if that's because of like just how badly all these other guys have been performing that he stands out more. But I think you're right. Also, it's just like he has those good games and it's very noticeable when he does, and when he doesn't, then it's just like another player out there.
Yeah. That being said, though, like I don't think it's like that sustainable or one that like I would build around because he's 33.
Yeah,
he's going to be 34, like pretty much at the start of next season. Like, and in that position and like that much like running and like and the physicality, like I feel like that's just a lot to try to put on him. So I mean, but you can say that about a lot of the guys on this team.
Yeah, I would say like, the one that kind of stood out to me was Soderski. I didn't think he was gonna have the same output, especially goals wise, as he did last year. Just because last year he was kind of like our only forward, our only option.
Are you forgetting about Daniel Rios?
Our only true option that could like shoot from more than 6 yards out.
Yeah.
Last season he had 10 goals and 4 assists is what I'm looking at here. And this season he's got 8 and 3. but I feel like he's been more of a key player, especially on the attack. Um, just recent, well, not even recently, just throughout the whole season, but more so when Capetti's not out there. It's like
Yeah.
whenever Capetti's not out there and he's the main guy, I don't know if he just feels more pressure to do it or he just plays better at that striker position. But yeah, whenever I see Capetti in the lineup and Swiderski on that wing side or below him, it's just like this is not going to be good.
Yeah, anytime he's not playing like the number 9 role, it's just frustrating because it's like the guy actually gets you goals, and sometimes from like out of nowhere. Like he just has like some weird goals where he just kind of like sticks a foot out and gets like the right bounce, and
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, like, you know, we've had Capetti in very similar positions and scenarios, and he, instead of like making the extra effort to get the ball into the back of the net, he dives,
yeah.
and it's just like I don't know. That to me, I don't like that, and it hasn't been working for him. So I don't know why he is still trying.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at Swiderski's stats from this year, and he's got 8 goals and 4 assists.
Yeah.
And you got to think what only maybe 10 games he's been played as like the true number 9.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time he's been moved around a bunch of different spots. And it's just like I just feel like that comes down to poor management of like maybe it's pressure from the front office to like, hey, you need to play Copetti because we spent a lot of money on him. But I feel like a better manager would just like keep playing Swiderski at the 9 and like the guy's getting you goals, like play him. Like you need goals right now. You need to outscore your opponents because your defense cannot like keep people out. And he just keeps getting moved like further and further away from the goal.
Yeah.
Like if you go back to that LAFC game, like him, Westwood, and the new number 10, Birch Desjardins, like the way they were combining and moving the ball around was like it was like really, really good and like really free flowing, and they were creating like a bunch of good chances instead of like just being forced outside the box and crossing it. And now with like Copetti back in the lineup, and you got to figure out where to put Swiderski somewhere, and you put him in that midfield, you can just tell like the connectivity is like not the same. Like the wingers don't connect with Copetti that well because he's like not that good at like giving and going, and then like Swiderski's just too isolated to where like he also can't can't just set people up or get himself set up to like get in good spots. So it's just like you're hurting like 2 guys at once by playing this one ineffective guy at striker.
Exactly. Yeah. I thought they were going to play a different formation when they brought on Copetti. I thought they were going to have 2 strikers up there.
You really think that would work better though, like with Copetti, like him being a striker next to Swiderski? Like I don't think that would work either. I feel like you still run into the same issues of him. Like I feel like he just can't receive and pass a ball, and like he's only good at like running around and like trying to draw a foul.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's before like I kind of really even knew his play style. But just like when I saw the news of, you know, Capetti and he was the highlight reels that they were showing and all that stuff, I thought they were going to maybe change up the formation some. But it's been pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Another guy that's kind of stood out to me was Justin Merrim. You know, when we first brought him on, he doesn't look like a guy that is very threatening. But I mean, he's got us 4 goals and 3 assists. So
yeah,
I don't know. I like him. I think he should get more starting time.
I mean, he's definitely out of all the other wingers we have. Yeah, like him and Desjardins should probably be the wingers that play.
Yeah.
But man, he gives the ball away in some bad spots sometimes. Like I guess he's done more good than bad, but his bad is really bad.
Oh, Yeah, he does give he does give it away.
Like it usually turns into like a breakaway.
I don't know. Yes and no. I'm 50-50 on that because like I've seen way worse from other players that are constantly getting starting
Yeah.
roles.
Yeah, no, that's true. No, I'd rather have him, playing in the starting lineup than not playing. But,
Yeah.
but again, like he's what, like 30 something. Let me see
Yeah,
if I can find
but
it.
again, just squeeze everything we can out of him.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that they've been putting Bender back in the starting lineup, but I feel like now it's a little too late type of deal.
Yeah, he's 34.
Who is?
Oh,
Moran.
Moran.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Bender,
probably have maybe like 2-3 more seasons at best.
Yeah. Bender, I do like. I don't like him at the winger spot though. I do not think he looks good there.
No,
He looks way better in center mid.
yeah,
And I
like,
just don't
would
know how
put
you fit him in there though.
If anything, looking at the starting lineup from Philly, I would put Swiderski where Bender is and Bender where Bronico is.
Yeah, that ain't ever gonna happen though.
No, it's not.
Does Bender have a bobblehead? I don't think so.
Not yet. You can't have a bobblehead if you keep changing your haircut all the time.
Yeah. True.
Oh, but that'd be a good one though if they had like a Chia Pet one.
And it just grows. That would be
Yeah.
good. There you go, Charlotte FC. You want to make another $1 billion? Sell a Chia
You're
Pet Ben
welcome.
Bender.
Homegrown. Brian.
One guy I will say has surprised me is Andrew Privet.
Really?
Yeah, I think he has looked good as the center back next to Malanda ever since he came in on the Leagues Cup.
Yeah, he's been solid.
Better than like anyone else that has played there. And there a lot of guys have played there. Tulioma, Corujo, Jones, Byrne, and Awful have tried playing there. He's been the most solid. And he's not perfect. Like, I think he gave away the ball for that second goal against Cincinnati. Like he definitely gets beat. He's a little slow, but he's been better than anyone else. And to be a rookie coming out of college and stepping up and being pretty consistent, like I think that deserves some props.
Yeah, Privet seems to be a good one there. I wouldn't mind seeing Jones back in that lineup somewhere, but it's hard now with Westwood.
Yeah, I honestly think it's Bronica's zone that causes the issues. I think if he had a midfield of Westwood, Arfield, and Jones, I think that'd be a pretty dangerous midfield.
Yeah.
But we will never see it. It will never happen. George Marks is another guy I wouldn't mind seeing again. Although Kalina hasn't been terrible.
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. I feel like George Marks, because we started off the season bad, and we started off the season with Marks in there, so everybody was like, bring Kalina back.
Well, we started with Cisniega.
True, yeah.
And he looked really bad.
Yeah, he looked really bad. And then Mark came on, and he looked a little better. He looked solid.
But he got better each game.
Yeah, and he made some real good saves.
Yeah.
And then, Kalina came back, and it was just same old Kalina, I would say. Maybe a little better, but not that much better.
I think Kalina looks worse this year.
Yeah, I couldn't pull up stats as far as, like, how many goals he's let in or clean sheets.
He just looks slower and, like, stiffer. I don't know if it's the back thing or what, but I don't feel like he looks as good as he did last year.
He's got a net worth of $5 million.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. I can pull
It's
that
about
up.
$4.5 million too many, but No, I mean I'm on SofaScore and I'm looking at the team and it's like, man, there's a lot of guys I would try to get rid of to make some room in and try to be aggressive in the transfer market.
Yeah,
there's not a
Did
lot
you
of guys.
bring in
I
a new
keep.
goalie as well in the transfer?
I
Or would
might
you
just keep
give
Marks. Yeah, I'd probably just give Marks like half a season.
Get rid of Cisniega,
Yeah,
put
keep
in
Kalina as a
Marks.
backup.
Yeah.
Bring up Isaac Walker as the Crown Legacy goalie.
Yeah, from what I hear, Crown Legacy has been really killing it.
I mean, they're like one in their conference. They just won again. But it's a bit different. I don't think there's a like a cap there in that league.
I'm sure
And I think
there is.
I think we've
probably
spent
not.
the most.
It's probably hard to get that cap in that division.
Yeah, but I think we've outspent like all the other teams that are there. So it's a little different. But there's some ballers on that team. Like when I went and saw, there's a couple guys that impressed me that
Yeah.
I think could make a difference on this team too. But I think we just have a lot of older guys that I don't think you can just build around.
Well,
And then
that brings us to Lindsay, young, 23. Last season, we thought he was going to be, a solid starting guy on the right back position. But then we brought in Byrne. We had injuries happen. Byrne's been kind of playing all over that defensive line from left back to right back.
yeah.
And Lindsay's one of those players that has not been getting a consistent starting role. He's played in 19 matches, which is 7 less than last season so far. And he's had 1 goal this season.
Yeah, and a couple of assists too, for sure.
Yeah, he's had 2 assists. But that's one guy that's consistently missing the starting lineup, from what I can tell.
Yeah, with
But
Lindsay, I
that's-
kind of understand it though, because like he does bring some like good qualities in the attack, but I do think he is a worse defender than Byrne, and I think he's someone who got a little bit worse than last season. Last season, I felt like you could not beat him 1-on-1. This season, I feel like he gets beat a good bit.
Yeah, he's been getting burned a little bit.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I would keep him because, like you said, he's pretty young. I think he's
definitely
23.
keep him. Definitely keep Lindsay.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah, I
Lindsay.
think you definitely just have to start with like you got to just get rid of Kopetti and Yazwiak and if you get a crazy offer for Swiderski, take it and reinvest it. Like if someone says 10 million or 12 million for Swiderski, take that and reinvest it. Something like bring in someone else. Like sure you can find another good striker for 10, 12 million, or even like 8 million. And then bring in a couple other DPs. Oh, you gotta hit on those DPs, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like we've had such bad luck with DPs.
I mean, I think I don't know who all of Cincinnati's DPs are, but I know that their main one is Acosta, I believe. And I mean,
For who?
he for Cincinnati,
Oh, okay.
who we just played. Did you see his goal?
You talking about that free kick?
No, where he like just dribbled the whole field, beat like 3 or 4 Charlotte defenders, and then just buried it.
Oh no, I didn't even look up the
It was. I think it was their 3rd goal, and if there was ever like a illustration of what final nail in the coffin means, it's that one. He torched everyone on the team. SilvaScore gave him a 9.9. Like someone like that is what we need. Like a playmaker, can also score goals. Like that's what we're missing, really. Yeah, you gotta go look at his goal.
Well, that's what I was telling you earlier. It's like I like the MLS that is on Apple TV because you can just watch the games. There's no blackouts and any of that stuff. But I hate how they do their replay because they just tell you the score straight up. I'm like, what's the point of the replay if I already know it's gonna be the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to that little fair on Saturday. right over here in Stanley, and I was like, yeah, I'll catch the game later when I get home. And I got home, and it was like, Cincinnati 3, Charlotte 0. Do you want to watch the replay? I'm like, well, not now. It's like I'm not trying to go to bed angry.
Yeah. Oh, I did. I went to bed very angry.
I would have been going to bed at like 2 in the morning, just brewing.
Yeah. Just like tossing and turning. Like, God.
Yeah,
Dude, that's how I was after that Philly game. Even the next morning, I was just like shaking my head.
I saw that Philly game and I was on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Work the next day.
Yep. I was just brewing in the office. I didn't have remote access, so I had to stay in the office all day. I was like, and I can see the stadium too, so I'm just like looking in there. These sons of guns. I can't believe they did that. I was eating dinner, just shaking my head. Jen's like, what's wrong? I was like, well, if he gave that PK away, like, what is he doing? It's like 24 hours later, I'm just losing it. Oh, yeah.
That's probably
I
the
don't know.
worst one we have given away.
Dude, like, he wasn't even close to the ball. The guy, like, didn't even really have that good control of it either. Like, I think it would have been fine to just, like, stay on him or
Yeah, just
like,
pressure
let
him.
Yeah, like, just so unnecessary. And then the way he, like, looks up, like, you're calling that? It's like, yeah, dude, what are you talking about?
Of course we're calling that.
Like,
That's
you
the
weren't
time to
even
have
close.
technical difficulties on that jumbo screen there.
Yeah, and like I'm rewatching the highlight right now. Like Andrew Privet is like right there too. Like he
Yeah.
would have, if the guy just would have let him run. Like Privet has it because the guy doesn't even really have good control of the ball. Like it's bouncing. Like it would have been totally fine, and it sucks too because like Dejagir or whatever, however you say his name, I think he's actually been pretty good.
Yeah.
And then that happens, and you're like, yeah, I could do without seeing you in the lineup for a little bit.
Oh no, you do bad. You get to start.
I think he did start the next game.
Yeah.
Let me see.
He's the number 10. He
Cincinnati.
has to.
Dude, no, he didn't. Oh no, he did. Yeah, but he kind of does have to because like
He does.
he actually looks good attacking, but
Yeah.
God, he's bad at defending.
He shouldn't be going that far back to defend.
Yeah,
Just leave that up. Just wait halfway around the field and just wait for the ball.
yeah.
Play your position. He's like the little kids on the rec league. You just got to tell them to stay in position. Don't go chasing the ball. Don't bunch
Yeah. They don't get that.
up. It's hard.
It is hard. Yeah, like I said, man, I think that's why like the rebuild. I don't think it's like as simple as just getting rid of Lattanzio, because if you still have Zernata or whatever his name is, like picking the players and picking the coach and like running the team that way, I think you're just gonna still have the same issues because like out of all the transfers he's brought in, like only a couple have really hit. Like
Mm-hmm.
Westwood was good. Alanda's good. Sergersky. Deja Gear maybe still kind of out on him.
Sadowski was already there, though.
Yeah, but he like brought him in. Like,
Oh, are you talking about the general manager?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, they're not all gonna be great, but
I mean, look at St. Louis though.
okay, yeah. Good point. Good point. But those guys play as strikers, so they're good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Man, I wish we could be in the press conferences because that whole like we're not Real Madrid Baron, I just want to ask him like what he means by that. Like what do you mean? Like what do you mean by that? Like what does that mean? That we can't complain, we can't be upset? Like that doesn't make any sense.
No. It
And it's
doesn't.
like, does he mean we can't have good players because other teams in the league have good players and they're not those teams?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't get it, man. The dude's I'm Lattanzio out. I've had enough of this guy.
Next season.
Yes. And that's the thing is like, in my head, I can see them giving him another season because he did kind of have a weird like start to the season. Like you had the walk situation, and then you have the Shinashiki and Santos situation.
True.
And you
That's
like
about it.
well, but then because of those two, we had to like wait till we could sell them to bring in new players, and so because of that, we had to get like kind of cheap options, and that's why we've got like 2 or 3 guys that are in their 30s. But then some of the stuff is like the lineup choices and the substitution choices. Like
Yes.
that stuff doesn't.
That's what I have a problem with. Is
Yeah,
the substitutions, the very late substitutions, and then the substitution choices. Like, why are you taking off your goal scorer for a guy that can barely score? Or why are you taking off a winger that's having a good game for somebody that doesn't deserve to be in there? Why are you not starting guys that have been performing good? And it just doesn't make sense. Definitely lineup choices and sub choices. And I would even say something like formation. Like, why aren't you trying something new? Like, we're getting scored on so much.
Yeah, that's what I want to like ask. Like, what do you mean by we're not so is it like a quality of players thing? If so, why do you keep trying the same formation if you don't have the right quality of players? Like, why don't you adjust to the players you have? Like, play to their strengths. Don't make them play to like how you think it should be played. Like, adjust, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and then the other thing I forget
FIFA default.
Yeah. I think it was against the DC game. He had another comment of where he said I mean, I'm probably butchering it, but he said something to the effect of like he coaches the team on like how to get to the final third, and then once they're in and around the box, he kind of lets them do their own thing. I'm like, how do you not have set protocols or like set plays or like ideas for what you want to do in around the box, like the most important part? And you're like, nah, you guys just free flow it. After a season of just like a billion crosses to no one. Like, how do you not adjust to
the
that?
worst.
And this past game, he had, I think it was him or Westwood. One of them had a comment of like, we didn't deserve that result. We had the ball more. We had, way more crosses than them into the box. I'm like, dude, look at the crosses you're putting in though. It's one guy in the box covered by like 3. Like, yeah, you might have more, but they're crap. Like, it's a quality versus quantity thing. But
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, our crosses still seem to be just not connecting. Whether it's corner kicks or free kicks or just in-game crossing. I think out of all of them, Maram has probably had some of the better ones.
Yeah, that is definitely could be true. Yeah, man. I mean, our crossing is like just so bad and like just so one-dimensional. Like clearly, like you can just tell guys have no idea what they want to do when they get to the box or they get out wide, so they just cross it, and like they're not even looking up to see who's there. Because like, I honestly think if you like let them. Like, if you were like, all right, no one's going to defend you right now, you can stop the ball, you can look up and make a decision, and you see Copetti is covered by both center backs, you're really telling me these pro players are going to choose to play a ball into him, to a guy who has scored 1 header all season?
Yeah.
There is no way. I think they make a different choice. But I think they just get, like, panicked, and they're like, cross it, just hit it into the box. Like,
yeah, just send it. Somebody will be there.
No one is ever there.
No, except the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's not good. But yeah, I mean that comment. I'm like, how do you not have plays for finishing an attack? Like, how are you only doing 2/3 of the work? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Going back to last season, we had 40. We ended the season with 44 goals, and this season we're only at 36. So I guess offensively we're doing even worse.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where we finish with that.
I don't know.
Because we got some tough games.
Yeah, Yeah, we do. We got that rematch coming up with who is it?
New England.
Yeah, New England, which was our home opener fiasco or disaster, basically.
Yeah.
Toronto, Chicago, and then Miami
Chi-town.
twice. It's not gonna be. Toronto should be a win, but it's like the way
it
we've
won't
been
be.
playing. Yeah, it won't be.
It will not be.
Because it's like, LA should have been a loss, but we definitely won that one. I don't know how. But
DC should have been a win.
Yeah, DC could have been a win. We had some good chances and they just wasted. But DC had a lot of chances too, where like I feel like our defense really stepped up there.
Yeah.
Chicago's kind of right there with us.
Yeah. Want to get your
probably gonna be well, and that's funny. I don't know why, because like beginning of the season, Miami was not who they are now.
I know. Why
But
can't
now
we get
they're
them
like-
at the beginning?
I know,
Such garbage.
but now
It's-
it's like Miami's one of the better teams, and they're gonna be a tough match. I'm like, how the heck does that happen?
I don't know if you watched all of the episodes of the show The League, the fantasy football show. But there's an episode where Taco, the like idiot who everyone considers him like a bye week basically because he always messes up his lineup and like it's a free win. There's one
right.
episode where he like quits smoking weed and he like turns into a genius.
Oh yeah,
and
I've
he
seen that one.
sets up like the ultimate like lineup, and Pete's like, "What? No, this isn't fair. Like, I'm not getting my free win. This is garbage." I feel like that's what this is. Like, now we have to play in Inter Miami at like full power, and we're like, "This is not fair." Like, everyone else got to play them when they were garbage. I mean, not everyone, but like 2/3 of the league got to play them when they were garbage.
Look at Atlanta that just beat them, and they're like bragging to everybody about beating them. But it's like, yeah, but guess who wasn't playing?
Yeah. Do you think so? With that being said, do you think Messi will play at Charlotte, another turf field?
I'm hoping no. And
I don't think he will.
I don't think he will either, just because like it's towards the end of the season. There's no chance that they'll make playoffs. So why even risk it?
And their last game is a home game. So I can
Yeah.
totally see them being like, we're resting him because it's a quick turnaround. I think it's 3 days
Yeah.
later we play them again.
Uh-huh.
So I can totally see them being like, we're resting him for the home game. like,
Yeah.
to finish out the season.
Yeah.
So yeah. So maybe we'll win at
He'll
home.
play in Charlotte.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Maybe they'll just give us that one.
That'd be sweet.
That would be nice. But still, I mean, we're at 32 points right now. Even DC is out of it. We need 5 points. And New York City has the number 9 spot right now.
At 37 points.
Yeah, 37. And they have... Oh, I had it up earlier. They have one more tie than we do. They have 13.
Yeah. And one more win than us.
And one more winning.
That makes a difference.
Yeah. I mean, we could have had that win. Could have been there.
Yeah. That's like so I want to get your opinion on this too. So a lot of fans over the weekend were like, well, if you guys thought we were gonna, get any kind of result against Cincinnati, like, you're an idiot. Like, have you been paying attention? Blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't expect anything. But because of the way the season has played out and because of our inability to win games, we need to win like whatever game comes up.
Right.
So yeah, I am very frustrated that we lost 3-0 because every game right now is pretty much a must win because we've dug ourselves in such a bad hole. So like, yes, I understand they're the number 1 team in the East, number 1 team in the league, and we shouldn't have expected anything, but we have like no choice. Like, you have to get 3 points wherever you can, and they just aren't doing it. What do you think about that mentality of like, just, well, you shouldn't have expected anything? Like, especially right now. It'd be different if we would have won like 2 of the last 3 games, right? If we would have won the DC and Philly game, I'd be totally fine with not beating Cincinnati away. But it's like, I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree with you because we've had other games like that where, last time we played Cincinnati, we ended up tying, but people were expecting us to lose because Cincinnati was first, still is first, but it was another. I think we came back from a 0-2, but they weren't expecting much.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was like one of those ties that felt more like a win. But if you look back at like the LA game, it's like a game that we're going up against a very strong team. We're expecting to lose, but we ended up coming with a win. So I had that same feeling. I was like, we just tied. We tied DC. We almost won against Philly, which Philly's a strong team.
Yeah.
I felt like we had a slight chance against Cincinnati because it was a home game and we needed the win. But
what's funny about the Philly game is that they didn't start like two of their attackers that they normally start, and on the broadcast they had like some kind of stat up of like they're like 3-7 with these guys not starting or something like that. Like they do very poorly when they don't start, and those guys came on in the second half, and one of them like set up the assist for the first goal, and then the other one like I think scored the PK. So it's like, oh well, Philly wasn't even like at full strength yet. And then once we got a full strength Philly, we gave up 2 goals. And then the other point, I wish I wouldn't have looked this up, but I did, and now I'm just furious. But when we played Cincinnati at home, we tied 2-2, and it was a game where we were 2-0 at half. We were winning 2-0.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and it was the game where they got a red card in the 75th minute, and we could not get a goal.
Yeah. I thought it was the other way around. I might be thinking, there's been so many ties this season, it's hard to say.
It's hard to keep track.
Yeah. But no, I feel like it just seemed like there was some sort of chance there.
Yeah.
But in true Charlotte form, we do not win the ones we're supposed to win.
No. And then I think this is going to be like last thing I have to say about this current situation in Charlotte. But like, again, with the Lattanzio comments and being like so dismissive of the fan base, he's got 2 wins in the last 5 months. I don't think that's acceptable for like any professional team. Like especially one that is like marketing itself as like, we're trying to be a playoff contender. We want to be competitive in the league. We want to win trophies. Like, you cannot just dismiss fans by saying we're not Real Madrid, we're not Bayern Munich, when you've only got 2 wins in 5 months. Like, dude,
we're like the Chelsea of MLS.
Yeah, that's what I said on Twitter. They just lost this weekend. They ruined my Sunday. I was so pissed off. They're 14th in the Premier League right now after spending like $1 billion.
Oh, Manchester won.
Yeah.
Goodness. They've been garbage too, though. Jeez, all my teams are garbage.
That's what I was telling John.
Except my fantasy team. They're actually
all
doing
my
good.
teams suck. My fantasy team's letting me down this week too. Having a rough week. Yeah, but so that's just kind of my last point. Like, if you are a Charlotte FC fan and you feel like maybe you shouldn't be complaining, or other people are telling you to like get over it, or what do you expect, blah blah blah, like just 2 wins in the last 5 months, not counting Leagues Cup, like 2 wins in the MLS in the last 5 months is just like, that is truly
bad.
Like that's truly bad. Like that is yeah, we just can't have that. Like, we cannot be that bad of a team, especially with like how they're charging fans, how many fans show up and support the team. Yeah, and just to have a manager that is just dismissive of that and just wants fans to be okay with that, I think that's like unacceptable. So that's my last piece on it.
We're looking ahead. We got the New England game coming up Saturday. Then we got Toronto, Chicago, and then 2 Miami games.
Yep.
Out of those, I think New England is probably going to be a loss.
Yeah, especially it being away. It's tough to win away.
Yeah. Toronto, Chicago, those should be wins. I would say Toronto should definitely be a win.
The Chicago one's
might
50-50
be
because,
in the-
again, it's away.
Yeah, it might be a tie. But just on the bright side, I'll say it's a win. And then we got Miami home and Miami away. So maybe we don't get Messi here and we win. So that's 3-6. So that's 9 possible points we could, because I don't think we'll win Miami away.
Yeah.
But that's 9 possible points we could get out of this, which would put us at 42. With that,
But then you got to hope New York doesn't get any more points.
well, yeah, and then not only that, but also, all the other guys in front of us.
Yeah. New York plays Miami on Saturday. Let me see. Why doesn't it show me the rest of the games?
You think we still have a chance?
Nah, I don't.
Yeah, it seems
And
even more out of reach than last season.
not only that, but it also feel like it's kind of like I don't know what the point of being ninth and making playoffs would be anyways, because I don't see them like winning.
No. I would just want them to make playoffs. Like, that was really a very basic goal that I had for them. It was like, just make playoffs. If you make playoffs, I would
And
be
lose
happy.
10-0.
Yeah, I would be totally fine with that.
Yeah.
But
So New York has Miami next, then DC, then Chicago. So seeing that, it could get interesting.
yeah, but if DC pull ahead,
Yeah.
then they just and then
And if Chicago win, yeah.
So it's
Like either way, it sucks for us.
all
Yeah, these
other
games
guys
don't
have
line
to
up.
tie, and we have to win.
Yeah, is
they,
that
they
still
have to
even
do
like?
what we've been doing all season.
But is that even like still enough? Like if they,
I'm not doing the math on it, but I'm gonna say yes.
I think it
just
gets
wanted
real
them-
close.
I wanted them
It'll
to,
be
to
real
finish
close. Yeah.
better than they did last season. And it's
Yeah, I don't
not
think that's
gonna.
gonna happen.
No, it's not.
I think it's very realistic. We might finish 13th,
Yeah.
maybe even worse,
Well, yeah.
because Miami could definitely jump us.
Next season, I think the first tifo that goes up at the home opener is Lattanzio Out.
Even if he's already fired, just put it up anyways.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Lattanzio is out.
I wonder what kind of. I don't think they're gonna get rid of him this season.
I don't think so either. Does not feel that way.
No.
I feel like some rumors would have come out, something.
Yeah, we'll have to ask old Jorge.
There'd be like some kind of like speculation or rumors of like them interviewing another coach. Or I feel like they would have done it already and just had an interim coach. But I don't. I think they're gonna. Yeah, I think they're gonna give
just
him another
gonna
season.
Give him another season. Next season, we're gonna go to the supporter section with a bunch of Lattanzio Out shirts and just hand them out.
Yeah, because like I can see his case, right? Of like I only got one real good transfer window, but
Right.
he botched it bringing in Copetti, and I don't know if that was his choice or the front office. So if that was like
Well, I don't think
the front
anybody even
office's
saw
choice,
that coming though. There was a
Yeah.
lot of hype behind Copetti. A lot of hype, and not only that, but it was like, I don't know, it was kind of justified too because of his previous season at the Argentinian club.
yeah, I mean, yeah, without
Okay.
like hindsight, it was because
Right.
towards the end of the season last year, Serdersky looked better as the number 10,
Yeah.
setting up Rios,
Yes.
and Copetti was supposed to be like a better version of that.
Yeah.
And so it was, you could like see the vision, like, oh, this will be nasty, like it'll be like a 1-2 punch, and instead it's
Yeah. And then we
horrendous.
played St. Louis, and he had that header, and we're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, he's the only one that scored in the away game, blah blah blah. But then it was just like downhill from there.
yeah. But again, like if that was the like front office's choice to bring in Copetti, like he could argue that, right? Like, hey, I didn't even really want this guy. It's kind of messing with how I want to play the players and the system. And then the second transfer window, like I couldn't do anything because we had Chinashiki and Santos and that whole issue. So I still didn't really get to do anything. Like now we'll have a season where like I can choose the players and bring them in, and I got a whole preseason to get everyone set up again for this system I want to play. A lot of the team has a year or at least half a year of experience with it. I could see his argument for staying.
Yeah, and which is probably why he will get next season.
Yeah.
But if he
But if we start the first 10 games, if the first 10 games is not looking good, I'd rather act swiftly than not swiftly.
I guess so, right? Yeah, just get the other coach. Yeah, I feel like it'd be a repeat of the first season.
I think they should like lean into the whole party vibes and just let the fans run it for the rest of the season. Just set up a bunch of Twitter polls of like, who do you want in the starting lineup? The 11 most voted players get put in. And then, like, at the stadium, like, put in, like, what minute do you want us to make substitutions? Who do you want to make the substitutions? Text it in. For an additional vote, you can buy $1.
Yeah.
Like, there's another Tepper, if you want to make more money, like, sell the votes, you know? Hey, for another $1, you get an extra vote. Who you want in this lineup? And just let the fans run it and watch it really burn down.
Yeah, if they get rid of Lattanzio mid-season next season, it's just gonna be like.
I think they could bring in the coach from Crown Legacy up.
It's gonna be an endless cycle.
Maybe
because then that new coach is gonna be like, "Well, I only had half a season to work with," and then
like, wait a minute, I've heard this before.
Yeah, and then Bronico's gonna catch a case, and it was like, "Oh God, here we go."
Yeah, so that dude must have like
a Letterman jacket around the campus.
Oh boy,
creeper.
Yeah, that dude is gonna retire here probably.
He's gonna be the next coach player.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know. It's this season has sucked. I mean, it hasn't been fun to watch. Like, I don't think the performances have been good.
It has not been fun to watch this season. Not as fun. Not as much as last season.
No. Last season, you knew what you were gonna get. Like, you were gonna get a win at home games, and you were gonna lose at away games, and I was okay with that.
And there was no ties.
Yeah, this season I don't like it. Every game's a disappointment, home and away. It's garbage.
Yeah, and it felt like we had like strong players going into it.
You would have thought.
Yeah,
you would have thought.
I mean
that was definitely.
I remember looking at the lineups at the very beginning of the season. I was like, we might go all the way this year.
I know. I the preseason hype was truly a time to be alive.
It's gonna be all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
Good thing there's no relegation.
Yeah, I know. Jeez.
Although that might be better.
Yeah, I was gonna say, be sick if there was though. I would though. I mean.
Just play in the USL.
Nah, I was just trying to see if there's like a combined table. See where we would fit in. I don't know how to get to that.
They should just relegate 2 teams.
Yeah, let me see. We are 33 points.
Both number 15s.
Oh my gosh. We would be... We'd be only above Colorado in the West. So we'd be 13th.
Toronto's sucking, though. 22 points.
Yeah, so if 3 teams got relegated, it'd be Colorado, Toronto, and us. So I think Miami's going to finish above us. And they'd probably pull out some rule where, like, yeah, we can't relegate Miami. Like, they have Messi.
Yeah.
So, Charlotte, see ya. See ya, losers. Better luck next year. Yeah. All right.
Well,
so we got a game this weekend. I have no expectations. What happens, happens.
They're probably gonna win, just to prove us wrong.
What's gonna happen is
to get our hopes up for the next home game.
That is definitely what's gonna happen. They're gonna win one of these games. I'm not sure if it'll be the one against New England, but they're gonna win one of these before the Miami games, I bet. So either New England, Toronto, or Chicago. They're gonna win one of them and be like, okay, yes, like all we need now is a tie to get ninth. We can do it, and then they're gonna lose.
Yeah.
No, then they're gonna lose, and then we're gonna be out of it, and then we're just gonna lose back to back to Miami.
Yeah, and then Charlotte's gonna be like putting out their marketing teams like, we need you guys there. It's gonna be a party, but it's like a party you don't want to go to.
Yeah.
You're being forced to go. It's like you're gonna go and you're gonna have a good time. Better not.
No, I'm not. Yeah, it's gonna. I'm just glad it's almost over.
I don't. I hope for the best, but it has not been going that way at all.
Just seems like futile. I feel like what will happen is like the games we do win, the people we need to tie or lose will also win, so it won't matter.
Yeah, that seems to be happening a lot too.
And then like it'll be like DC and New York lose or something, and then like okay, if we win, like we'll jump. Oh, we lost.
Yeah, it's like whenever we played Atlanta away, we beat them. What was it like? 3-1. It was like, oh yes, we won. We get 3 points. We should make a good jump on the tables. But then everybody else kind of won too, and it's like
I think we only moved up like one spot.
We moved up one spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, it sucks.
What's the highest we've been this season? Have we been in playoff spots at all?
Yeah, I think the highest we've been this season was like maybe 6th or 5th.
No way we got up that high.
Let me see. I know there's a way to look it up.
I remember last year we got to 5th for a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, early in the season. Well, midway through the season. Progression, maybe.
I don't know. This is bad podcasting. A lot of dead air. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so we got a bunch of games coming up. At least it's going to be over quickly. It's going to be hot and fast. Yeah, the 30th, and they play the next Wednesday, then that Saturday, and then 11 days later play Miami, then 3 days later play Miami. So we've got about 22 days left in the season after Saturday. So it's a lot of games. 4 games in 3 weeks. It's a good bit.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. I mean, they've been playing every 3 to 4 days this month, too. The 16th, 20th, and 23rd, and then the 30th. It's a lot of games.
There was a way. Somebody had a chart out, like a progression chart. But I forgot how to. But I know we have been in playoff position before. Maybe like 6th or 7th is what I'm thinking. But we have been in playoff. But that didn't last very long.
Yeah. No, it did not. All right. Any final notes or anything? Any final takeaways you want to mention? We can wrap this bad boy up.
No. Let's just keep on supporting the boys.
Yeah. I support the club. I don't support the people managing the club. Well, all of them out. Out!
Just start fresh.
Yeah, just start over. Bring back Miguel.
Oh,
at least that guy was entertaining. No, I'm kidding. All right. We will catch you guys after the New England game. Hopefully we get the 3 points. Hopefully it's not false hope and we do make a late run into playoffs, but I'm not getting my hopes up too high. But we will see you guys next time. Bye.
bye.
Wow, you got to love that.